I'm Nick Terzo, and you are listening to The Radical. This week's guest is the ultimate musician's musician. Having started out as being a part of Grammy-winning Snarky Puppy, he has gone on to pursue his own music. His newest record, Something to Say, is nominated for a Grammy this year. Additionally, he has garnered 3 other Grammy nominations for his contributions to Kanye West's Donda and Eric Bellinger's New Light. Recognized by many as one of the preeminent Hammond B3 players in the world. Multi-hyphenate Cory Henry joins me to chat about his early musical training, his many collaborations with artists such as Imagine Dragons, Kanye West, and Ty Dolla $ign, and his own path to establishing a significant, critically hailed career in music. Coming up, my conversation with Cory Henry. Hi, Cory.
Hey, Nick. How you doing?
I'm very excited to have you on my little humble podcast.
Glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
With the amount of Grammy nominations you have this year, you may be my first guest where I have to go through a litany of different projects that you have Grammy nominations for. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate it. This is a blessing and honor, and I'm very happy. This is one of the most happiest times of my life. I'm feeling really good about the work I put in over the last year or so and over the course of my career. It's kind of like capsulizing into this moment, and it feels good, man.
It should, as it should. So you have a record, an album you put out in 2020 called Something to Say. That's what's nominated, right, for Best Progressive R&B. Is that the category?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And it's a fascinating record because, you come, in my view, look, you have some message in your songwriting, right? But, coming out of this background of kind of like funk and R&B, there's a lot of fun to your music, let's say, right? So tell me if I'm wrong. I often am. That's the point of having this podcast. I found with that record, Something to Say, it felt like at the beginning it was a little bit more of a party. Then it kind of, as we went through the sequence, got way more serious with message and what you were saying. Am I wrong with that interpretation?
No, you're not. You're not totally off. Something to Say, if I'm not mistaken, I've kind of been checking it out a lot lately. It starts with the message. It starts with "Don't Forget," and I think that's an important, part to the entire message of Something to Say, because "Don't Forget" is like it's a chill, happy song, but it's still like a reminder of like why we're here, And I wrote that tune during the pandemic, and so many things was happening. I felt like daily or weekly, where we would be mad, say we, but let's say, generically there would be like tensions in so many areas, and then something new would happen, and then we forget about what we was mad about last week, So it starts with that statement, and then it goes into a little fun. It goes into happy days, and we talk about love, and we talk about breakups, switch, and we talk about a few things.
You do. So, but I was kind of really knocked out. The songs, you had No Guns there at the end, and Black Man, and Say Their Names. And I was very moved. It's very moving, tough, topical stuff.
Some of my favorite music still to this day is 70s soul and 60s soul. And some of my favorite artists, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, and Curtis Mayfield, Donny Hathaway, to name a few. There's probably way more that I'm not naming. But those people, they use the music to speak to the times, And I wanted to do that. I've always wanted to do that. As much as I played solos and, organ in church or jazz clubs and all this other stuff that I've done previously to this moment, I've always wanted to be able to say something, Like I grew up in, growing up in church, one of the main parts of it was the preacher, and the part that I liked the most was when he started revving up in key, you know. Yeah. Listen to me. I'm telling you about the world. So I wanted to pull all of those types of, influences. It's the 70s, 60s soul. And then I want to think about some of my favorite songs, like Marvin Gaye's Inner City Blues. It felt like he wrote that when I wrote Don't Forget. It's like the same thing is going on. So the pandemic gave me an opportunity to slow things down, to look at the world in my view with my musical opinion. Musical ability, from my opinion, rather, and say something to the world, or say something that I felt like represents what I think and how I feel and all of those things. So yeah, it was tough doing it. Sometimes some certain songs when I was recording them, I was like, it's not that serious, bro. I'm not really trying. Like when I named the album Something to Say, I wasn't being serious. I was just saying something. I was just like, oh, everybody got an opinion, so here's my opinion, And then after I put the record out, I was like, oh, it's something to say. It's like, boom, it's really serious now. So, it could be taken
incredible.
Either way.
And who did you collaborate with on the record? Did you produce it yourself?
I produced the entire record. I had a few collaborators. The Funk Apostles, my band, the Funk Apostles, are on four or 5 songs. My good brother Van Hunt helped me work on about a few songs, 2 or 3. Luke James, J-Mo, a few producers who played and helped me write on the record. Ayana Elise helped me write. Shout out to Mattia and Stout and, the singers that sing in the Apostles that, some of those songs. And I played a few of those songs and wrote by myself too, like Anything for You. And, so it was a collaborative. It was it was a lot of help.
Since it was done in 2020, were you able to do it in a studio, or did you just kind of do it in the box remotely? How did you record it?
In the studio. I recorded it in my studio here in Los Angeles, a studio I work out of.
Okay, awesome. Very rare during that year. You also, there was a Christmas record you released that year too, wasn't there? Was that written in another year, or was that during 2022? You're so busy, I'm trying to keep your productivity here in check.
Half of it was written in another year, a few years ago, actually. And some of it was redone and re-recorded in 2020 as well. Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Really beautiful. Does your interest in that come from kind of your background in the church? No,
it's just Christmas music. I, growing up, I've always played Christmas music because of the changes. It was always jazzy and, feeling, a little different. And I wanted to make a Christmas record. I originally made the record for a campaign I was doing for Macy's. I was doing a campaign for Macy's, and then once that was over, I took the tracks back because it was my master's, and I made a record out of it. And I re-recorded it. I re-recorded half of it in 2020. Yep.
It's fantastic. Since this will probably publish in January, but since we are pre-Christmas right now, it's just a fascinating. It was a really lovely record to listen to now as we're in the Christmas season.
Yeah,
so.
And I got more Christmas music coming up too.
You do?
Yeah, this year, releasing a single.
Awesome. Are you striving to get that standard, that the Mariah Carey standard or the Vince Guaraldi standard?
Yeah, now that I know that that's the goal, I have to set high. I didn't know Mariah Carey is making all that. Every year is crazy for her, more than her regular singles. It's insane. So I said, I got to be a part of that. number.
It was crazy because when I worked at Columbia Records, I was an A&R guy during that time. And it was just like, man, they're milking this woman. They're getting every type of music out of her. Now it basically almost defines her career. It's so strange.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. But Christmas is the gift that keeps on giving. So I wanted to make a good Christmas record.
In addition to the something to say, I mean, you're obviously a very active, engaged guy, a guy who's in demand, clearly. You actually had some credit and a co-producing credit on this Kanye West Donda record that came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's up for Grammys, right? Album of the Year and Best Rap Album.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that experience like for you?
It was wonderful, man. I was chilling one Thursday afternoon and got a call from Rick Rubin randomly to come down to San Francisco where they were to record. I didn't know it was for Kanye, I think, up until like things got serious. But once they got serious, it was amazing. It was an amazing time. I met him. He was really cool. Very intent on, what he was working on. They had a mood board, all these pictures up, and he told all these stories about his mama and serious about his faith walk now, seems like. It was amazing to see his process, how he worked, the producers and the writers he had in the room with him. I was actually really, really happy with the opportunity to just do my thing, like just play the organ. We was working on a song and Kanye is really on this one instrument, like oneness sound or something like that. He was kind of explaining, a lot of the songs at that time had, just a guitar part or just piano or something like that. And so when it was my turn to play some organ, and he was working on a song, there wasn't no drums, and I started doing the drum beat on the organ. And he was like, yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. It was amazing to listen to his rants from, the start of the rant to the end of the rant, because I feel like he gets either misquoted or out of context a lot, because you hear like a 40-second, excerpt of a 40-minute rant, but it was cool to hear, his thoughts and be around him. And it was a great experience.
Right. And did you spend, just in a time frame, so I get my head around it, was that 3 days in the studio? Was that a couple of weeks in the studio?
I was in for about 4 or 5 days. 5 days. Mm-hmm.
Nice. What a great experience.
It was amazing.
It's awesome. So I, when I was doing my research on you, I kind of saw this clip of you as a 4-year-old playing Amazing Grace in a church. Mm-hmm. I was stunned. It was so natural, it looked like, at that age for you. I get the impression your mom kind of, guided you into this music as a whole, because your mom played instruments. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that experience at such a young age, what she meant to you, what she contributed to you starting.
She played several different instruments, and she was the lead choir director in the church. And all the way up until the age of 2 or 3 years old, I was trying to find music in my own way by tapping on people's legs and, grabbing the spoons and the knife and making, whatever, spoon and fork, making beats. Not making beats, but tapping the table, I should say. She was getting ready for a choir rehearsal, and at the age of 3, she was, or age of 2, I should say, I had mimicked some notes behind her while she was sitting at the piano, and at the age of 3, she taught me Amazing Grace, and I had the opportunity to play Amazing Grace every 5th Sunday. Like the youth Sunday was like 5th Sunday, so it's like 3 Sundays a year or something like that too. I don't know. up until the age of 5, in which at the age of 5, I became like the church musician. You know, I was learning the songs and of the different choirs and the devotional portion. And it was like going to college at 5, 5 years old. My mother means a lot to me to this day. She passed away when I was 7, about 7 years old or so. And her influence is still huge. You know, I think about some of the things she taught me when I was younger, like you know, like at the end of Amazing Grace, you know, it ends on the major chord, right? And in church growing up, there was these, you know, when I first learned what a diminished chord was, you know, a diminished chord in church makes, you know, it's, you know, kind of makes church people go, hey, hallelujah, you know? So she always used to tell me to go to those church chords at the end of Amazing Grace, which it showed me how music and how music connects to people, you know, which is something I still use to this day, you know, how chords work. And, you know, I was always amazed that, you know, I made this statement earlier a little bit, but amazed that when I played in church and when I played certain chords, how people reacted or danced. They just start dancing. You'd be like, wow. You know, music is really important and powerful. And I get all of that from my mama.
Wow. So, I mean, is that a basis for almost being self-taught then? I mean, as you kind of went through this at the church?
Yeah.
Or?
I mean, I was self-taught, but I had a lot of teachers along the way.
Mm. And when you were in school, did you participate in any of the music programs there? Or was it primarily just church?
Early school, I did participate in Glee Club. And then in high school, in junior high, rather, I was in the jazz band as well. Shout out to Thaddeus Expose. I should hit him up. But in high school, check this out. I was, you said from New York, right? Did you say that? Okay.
Yes.
So I was living in between Park Slope and downtown Brooklyn, or Bed-Stuy at that time. And I was going to try out for professional performing arts in LaGuardia, right? To get it for music.
Okay.
And at LaGuardia, they said you're supposed to have, you know, 2 songs prepared, 2 or 3 songs prepared. I think it was 2 songs. I had a gospel song, Amazing Grace, because I've been playing my entire life, so I knew I was sweet on that. And I had a jazz song like A Train, you know, Take the A Train. And they might have asked me to improv, you know, at some point in between there. But I know I had those 2 songs. I had them down pat. And then I remember the teacher, he goes, "That was nice. That was nice. Do you know any classical?" And I was like, I wasn't supposed to know classical, right? But I've been in church, right? And I heard a lot of, like, you know. So I started playing you know that one, right? What, the Freddie Lee, is that called? The classic one. And after I finished playing it, the guy was like, "That was a nice rendition." And I didn't get into school. I wasn't good enough to go to professional performing arts. I hope they hear this. Wow. Remember when I don't know if you know the story when Jordan got kicked off his high school, you know, basketball team. That's what that was to me. I'm so, you know, I'll never forget that. I'm about to go tweet about it or something.
And today, I mean, like, a lot of people would call you kind of like, you know, and you're going to have some humility here as I say this, I'm sure. But I mean, people think you're kind of the preeminent kind of Hammond B3 player out there.
Thank
really.
You. What can I say? I appreciate it. I've been playing it my whole life and devoted my whole life to the instrument. And what can I say? I'm just glad that people are listening to me. So thank you.
So what's it meant for a kid from Brooklyn, to grace these stages? Like, you can go to a major international jazz festival that, I mean, it has to be just blow your mind at times.
No, it does, man. It doesn't matter what it is at this point. I'm actually happy to be doing it all. Like, I was always happy to have the opportunity to play music. I remember when I was a kid and I played in my church to the point where people felt like I was good enough to play outside of my church. And we used to travel around the tri-state area, and I used to be hyped just to go to Jersey to play. There's a concert in Philly, you'd be like, yo, just to go to somebody's church to play. So the fact that I get to do that and at times, whatever, because it's these other venues, it's still the same appreciation, still the same gratitude, still the same, just the same feeling I get since I was a kid, like, especially when I'm doing the bigger stages, it's even more. So, I mean, it's almost like I'm not even up there. It's like it's like something that's just happening, and I'm just like in the moment, and it's a beautiful feeling.
That's wonderful. And tell me the early days. I mean, how did you kind of come aboard? I mean, Snarky Puppy became kind of definitely a critically acclaimed group. What was that? How did it come together for you? What did that mean at that point in your career?
I joined Snarky Puppy. My boy Robert Sput Seawright, he was actually playing keyboards in the band, but he's known for being a drummer. He's one of the greatest drummers, I feel like. He was playing in the band before me. He had invited me out to check out the band he was playing in Brooklyn at Spike Hill in Williamsburg. And at that club, there was literally less people in this. It was less people in the crowd than there was on stage. And it was incredible to watch because the band was so tight. And I haven't really seen a band of that size play together without any ego, It was like, oh, we're just here together. We're making this music together. I'm playing my part, you're playing your part, and we're doing that together. And can you hear me better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. He invited me to another show. I think they played at maybe Rockwood. Michael Lee, who's the bass player and the band director, he had me coming for a solo. And the next thing I know, I was on the bus heading down to Virginia or something like that. I don't even remember what the conversation was. It was just like, oh, I'm part of the band, and it was fun. It was a wild, I want to say 3 years or so of just music making, creating, and traveling and learning. I've never been a part of a band that was like that before that, and I played in a lot of bands before that, a lot of bands, and professionally and otherwise, but that one was special. The type of music that we was making, again, the energy, how people treated each other, the diverse, cultures. People came from different places. Everybody was from different places. And it was beautiful, we got 3 Grammys and that's beautiful. I had some of my most amazing musical experiences in that band. So
it's almost like it's the first band experience I've heard of. It's almost like a kidnapping, or they just took you aboard and that was it.
Yeah, basically. I was like, wow, I'm out here now. This is crazy.
That's fantastic. So I mean, I just saw a clip that you recently played at Fleas' birthday party, and Looked like it was in a parking lot of like a Chase Bank or something. What was that whole scenario?
Yeah, I was at Fleas' birthday party. That's my homeboy. It was at his school. His birthday party was at his school. He has a school in LA, music school. And he's had the school for 20 years or 30 years or something like that. And he invited me out. Fish was there. I mean, so many other people were there. And all-star caliber band. And it was fun. I was just at his school again doing actually his podcast as well. And we jammed again. Fish is the homie. We play basketball and all that.
Dude, those are the quintessential LA guys from my generation. You know what I mean? So the Fishbone guys, the Chili Peppers. So how awesome! It's awesome to be part of that.
Yeah, no, I'm on that new record. Speaking of, I recorded about 8 to 10 new songs with the Chili Peppers.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Nobody really knows about that yet. But,
that is awesome. So, I mean, are these opportunities for you now that you've established your bona fides and your credentials and, have a bit of a profile? I mean, do these just come to you now? I mean, you don't have to hunt anything down anymore.
Some things come to me, some things I go hunt. It's a combination of it all. Yeah, it's just a combination of it all.
Yeah, I think there's an impression out there once you get at a certain level, it all just comes to your doorstep, and it never really works that way.
No, I don't think it works that way. I think there's certain things you still gotta go out and get for yourself. Work is still work. But a lot of the beautiful things that come my way, I'm very grateful for in terms of the people who call me to be a part of their projects and, especially on that level.
Dude, you've built a really great creative community around you. It's fantastic. But you're a musician's musician, and I think that becomes rarer in the world of influencers. So you're kind of a unicorn for sure.
Thank you.
So I've seen some live performances. Do you play shoeless on occasion, or do you have I saw one where your left shoe looked like it was off and you were playing with one shoe on, one shoe off. I didn't know if that was a style thing or a comfort thing.
It's both, actually. That's funny you bring that up. I had an organ. I grew up with an organ. I think I said that before. I grew up with an organ. So it was nothing to just, Saturday mornings, just have a bowl of cereal on the top of it and, just get on and play with my socks. That was life every day for me for years, So when it came down to going to church and playing at church, which is what I did a lot of, or playing other places, it just didn't feel good to have a clunky shoe on because I couldn't do my tricks or I couldn't walk the bass with my pedals, with my feet, And then I noticed when I started wearing a certain type of shoe, I could play, but it just didn't feel the same. So it's a style thing. It's a comfort thing. I've been doing it since I was a kid.
I'll say we have to get you and Michael Franti together for a collaboration. So. The shoeless guys.
Shoeless. Got to have some good socks on, clean socks.
So do you have touring plans coming up in the new year?
I tour in March. I got a tour coming up in March with Tank and the Bankers, actually. Yeah, we're touring together across America. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to releasing new music with the Apostles to support that tour. We're also opening up for Lenny Kravitz, 2022 coming up.
Awesome.
Maybe one more tour that I don't know about.
That's awesome. Good for you. So, well, I want to thank you for doing this. Your current record is Something to Say, which is nominated for a couple of Grammys this year, and your contributions to the incredible Kanye West and his record Donda, which is up for Best Album. So congratulations in all those nominations, and I'm crossing my fingers you walk away with a couple of those trophies.
Thank you. Absolutely. I appreciate it. I need those fingers crossed.
And then we're going to have to get you a bigger home because you're getting way too many Grammys.
Yeah. So. Moving on up to the east side.
You're going to need a museum soon. So
yes, that's right. Museum.
Awesome. Cory, thank you so much for your time, man. You are so talented and a treat to speak to. And stay healthy, my friend.
Bless you. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for doing this. I'm extremely grateful.
See you soon.
Thank you for listening. This show originates from the podcast capital, Austin, Texas. My producer is Sean O'Neill. Visit theradicalpod.com for updates and even some merchandise. Also, please subscribe at Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And I also ask that you please share episodes with your friends so we can continue to grow our community. See you all again next Friday.